This is a demo on how to make un autorretrato en el estilo de Picasso, el cubismo. Los autorretratos de Picasso are made in a very fun style, where facial parts are out of order, larger than they should be, very colorful, and not realistic. Bright shapes, curved lines, solid colors, all of these things make up a style called cubism or cubismo. Sometimes Picasso used patrones, or patterns, like stripes or repeated shapes, or different sorts of designs, checkerboards or crisscross, to make his autorretratos or his retratos even more interesting. For your first step, you'll need a few colors of paper, a black marker, and a pencil. What you want to draw first are different parts of the face. Don't connect them. Draw them separate on your different pieces of paper. You can draw different views of different facial parts, like here I have two versions of an eye, one looking right at you and one more in profile. Draw variety, because if you make a mistake later, you can choose just not to use that one facial part. You want to include nariz, ojos, orejas, cejas, labios, whatever else. I don't think any of you guys have any bigotes. If this is an autorretrato, you want to do your own face. Now cut out those facial features and start arranging them on a background paper. This is where you really want to remember how Picasso made his portraits. His eyes weren't always lined up with each other. His ears may not be in the right place. His face may be a combination of looking sideways and looking straight at you. You can choose to draw a head shape in the background, like this one here, and then place your facial features on top, or you can just place the facial features first and then draw the background later. So here you see I'm choosing some of the different facial parts that I picked out and cut out, and just seeing how they look and trying to really get that cubism style where things are odd and strange looking, out of order, and kind of silly. Another way to do it is to place all your facial parts first and then draw the background head later. Here I'm gluing all my pieces where I want them to be, using a good amount of glue stick, getting right up to the edges and making sure that they're pushed down well so that they don't get pulled up when I'm coloring them later. Really, the only way you can mess up cubism, un autorretrato de cubismo, is by making it look too perfect. So here I'm going to draw in the head shape after this time, and I'm just going to have it go through some of my facial features and make it a shape that isn't very realistic to the human head. It doesn't really matter. It's not meant to look realistic. Picasso would have preferred doing things just based off shapes and what looks cool and not what looks like it's supposed to look. To make it look more like un autorretrato, think about your own face and add those things to make those details more unique to who you are. Here I'm using some of my extra orange paper. I'm not getting a brand new piece of paper, but I'm taking some scraps from it and making my hair onto my face. When everything's been glued on, it's time to color or colorear. I've given you guys oil pastels to get the look of the oil paint that Picasso would have used in his retratos and autorretratos. Now let's look at a couple examples of how he used color. In this retrato, we see that Picasso uses bright colors in the middle of the face that are not realistic, as well as background shapes and stripes to give this painting more interest. This is a painting that Picasso called un autorretrato y un retrato de una mujer, a self-portrait of him in the frame in the background and then a woman's portrait in the front. He must have found her very beautiful. Look at the way he colored though. The background has solid shapes, very geometric, and different lines to show a wall and a frame. You can add elements like this in your background to your autorretrato to make it more interesting. Finally, in this autorretrato, Picasso doesn't use as many solid colors as he uses patterns and textures and shapes to make this painting really wild and interesting. For my autorretrato, I'm layering different colors that are not realistic. I put stripes in the hair, green on the face, and a background that kind of looks like a corner of a wall. Side to include un ojo azul, a blue eye because I have blue eyes, and kind of the shape that my hair actually is, but otherwise, the other decisions I made were not meant to look like me, but to look like Cubism.